Hello and welcome to another LinkedIn Live with myself, Garth Sharif. And today our discussion is on what is AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. There was a question last week when I talked about potentially what OpenAI had developed in maybe a breakthrough with artificial general intelligence that might have resulted in the oust of Sam Altman and then the bringing back of Sam Altman. And there were questions about what is AGI, and AGI is not easy to define. It's not the simplest thing to understand what it is because it means many things to different people, including myself as a science fiction fan and just a Trekkie. I'll be honest with you. And it's important to just talk about what this is because we're going to be getting more and more news about OpenAI and if they've had a breakthrough in AGI and what this means and what does it look like for uh, all of us in terms of the way we work, the way we interact with each other. And this is OpenAI's mission is actually to break through with AGI. But there's been a lot of people in the field of artificial intelligence that have thought this is far off if it ever happens. And some of that is actually a debate over the definition of what AGI is. So let's just go through this. I did it last week, but I wanted to be just focused on this particular subject for us so that we can talk about it in a way that makes sense for us and also start bringing up some of the concepts of AGI and then talk about it as it appears. So let me share my screen. I'm sharing the wrong screen here. So we're going to plan for, let me just show the right window here. Where is my window? I got it. I got it. I'm okay this morning. Here we go. So AGI is referred to as strong or general. There's two ways to look at it, strong or general. So artificial general intelligence, AGI, or strong artificial intelligence, but it looks like what we've all settled in on is AGI, artificial general intelligence. And what that is, and there's the definition that's here, and there's several definitions. I'm going to get into it, but it's ultimately where artificial intelligence has some of the intellectual capability, if not equal intellectual capability, and whatever that means to a human. And that's very different than the form of artificial intelligence that we are working today, even with generative AI platforms like ChatGPT, the chatbot, which works on narrow or weak AI, which is a series of algorithms that provides predictive results through decision trees, obviously very nuanced and complex and amazing now that really generative AI was able to break through with the ability to harvest big data, both structured and unstructured, and start to mimic creativity, but not be creative, but predict creativity based on all of the resources that are out there. And so when we talk about strong AI, the thoughts go into science fiction and sentience and supercomputers and into the realm. And that creates an arm's length from this discussion because it feels like that is really fantasy. But this is something that has been worked on for being worked on by OpenAI. And OpenAI has their own definition for it. OpenAI defines artificial general intelligence as autonomous systems that surpass humans in most economically valuable tasks. And that is not something that we have in our world today, right now. ChatGPT, any type of generative AI, machine learning, deep learning, autonomous cars, vocal recognition, visual recognition, facial recognition, any way in which you think about artificial intelligence, that is all on another branch. That's on the branch that when we first saw this in public consciousness, the Gary Kasparov versus IBM Deep Blue, the uh, IBM Watson versus Ken Jennings, that's all on what's called the applied AI, or also the weak or narrow AI branch. So this is the branch of AI that we live in today with machine learning, deep learning, and then deep learning extends down to generative artificial intelligence. AGI, artificial general intelligence, is on its own, and we don't have it in our world today yet. And that was the question, if that was ever going to be broken through. And we have a lot of information about OpenAI and what they see AGI as. The ability to work as a human in all economically viable tasks. Again, there are other definitions. There's a definition that comes from Harvard in terms of what AGI stands for. So this is Stanford. I might have said Harvard. Stanford. Broadly intelligent, context-aware machines needed for effective social chatbots or human-robot interaction. Now that might sound like ChatGPT, but really the broadly intelligent part is the key here. It's different than deep learning and machine learning because those are going through decision trees, supervised and unsupervised, but they really don't have values, and they don't really think. That's why you have things like the alignment problem and issues where uh, generative AI hallucinates, because it really is predicting what we're looking for in a very advanced, very amazing way with generative AI, but not in a way that it's really thinking about us and its responses to us based on its data sources and our queries of the artificial intelligence. But in this sense, this is broadly intelligent. And AGI has thought about this. So I want to bring you to a blog post from none other than Sam Altman, who published this in February 24th of 2023, so almost a year ago. And it's really speaking to what OpenAI's mission is. ChatGPT is a continuation of that mission, which is to find, discover, provide artificial general intelligence, systems that are generally smarter than humans. So that one's even more explicit, systems that are generally smarter than humans, but they add the caveat benefits all of humanity. And they go through these principles. They have these three principles. And I want to just tell you what they are, and that's in this article about AGI, because AGI has some threat. If you have artificial general intelligence that's broadly smarter than us, what does that mean for the way we work, the way we interact with artificial intelligence, which is much different than interacting with ChatGPT? So the three principles: we want AGI to empower humanity to maximally flourish in the universe. We don't expect the future to be an unqualified utopia, but we want to maximize the good and minimize the bad, and for AGI to be an amplifier of humanity. Now that's very nice, but it's OpenAI trying to balance some of the concerns that those that are in this space have, that AGI could start doing things and thinking about things in ways we didn't anticipate, and that can cause some threats. We want the benefits. This is the second principle of access to and governance of AGI to be widely and fairly shared. Now, this is one of the issues with OpenAI. That is a very philanthropic, benefits humanity type principle. But OpenAI is sitting on the most lucrative platform and advancement in artificial intelligence with GPT, generative pre-training transformer 4. And so is it really going to provide this for free if it ever discovers it? Or is it going to sell artificial general intelligence to those that can pay? And that's part of the challenge, is to understand where Sam Altman is in OpenAI and what OpenAI is doing. The third principle, we want to successfully navigate massive risks. This is really addressing the heart of AGI and the concern around AGI. In confronting these risks, we acknowledge that what seems right in theory often plays out more strangely than expected in practice. That's actually what happened with ChatGPT in some ways. We believe we have to continuously learn and adapt by deploying less powerful versions of the technology in order to minimize one shot to get it right scenarios. Now that's really interesting because OpenAI learned from dropping ChatGPT onto the public in December of 2022 that that might be too much for people. It just really knocked people off their socks, and it also created concerns about misuse and how it would be used in the public space. So now when they talk about artificial general intelligence, they really want to say, hey, we're going to slow our roll here, just kind of work it out a little bit if we discover it, right? This is something like the unified field theory, or is it fission or fusion? I always get those two confused, but the power of the sun, trying to have that recreated. And so these are really amazing advancements, but they feel like they are going to take forever, if at all. But we're coming back to AGI because there is a rumor that OpenAI may have had a breakthrough in AGI. And it's important to know what this is because we hope OpenAI, if they do have this breakthrough, they're transparent. We understand what it is, what it can do, how they're going to deploy it. Is it going to be accessible to other institutions, governments, countries? What is going to happen? And I think it's really important for us just to pay attention because AGI changes the way we look at technology. And there's a few things that are happening at the same time concurrently, and they're related. I just saw, and I've been in this space working on it, but it was when they start entering 60 Minutes, which is a classic television show for me. You start to say, okay, well, now this is coming closer to being not just those that are in the niche industry of reading and learning about this space, like myself. Like I really am invested in artificial intelligence, but it's they're trying to say, hey, look at this. So they had a segment on quantum computing. Quantum computing really is an advance in the way that computers can solve problems and the speed of processing. And these qubits and these things that they have that can really just exponentially increase qubits. Sorry, the qubits they can exponentially increase the processing speed of computers, the ability to solve problems, including problems that have been fundamentally impossible to solve. Um, eh, they provided an example of the human body and the way proteins change shapes when it comes to encountering certain diseases and how quickly they change shape so that the more we can anticipate that in terms of medical science, the more doctors might be able to do something to do all kinds of preventative and um, uh, treatments for all kinds of things, ranging from critical illness to smaller things and all the things in between, including viruses and pandemics. So that's happening, and then we have this as well. And there's a relationship because quantum computing and artificial intelligence will work together. So we're sort of at this tipping point here. Quantum computing will be a breakthrough if it becomes the way in which we actually see systems. And then AGI will be another breakthrough in terms of artificial intelligence. So we're moving on this exponential curve in terms of transformative technologies. Again, my point of view is that you don't have to be experts on this or you don't have to just immerse yourself, but I think there should be some level of what's going on here. Let me just keep up the speed. And so I'll do that on my part with LinkedIn Live. But the AGI news, understanding artificial general intelligence, what it is, where it is sort of in development, which I don't know. I would have said just a couple weeks ago, AGI is not here. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be. That's not what we should be talking about. We should be talking about generative AI as a branch of deep learning. We still should, because generative AI is still massively impactful for the way we work and the way we communicate. But are we getting closer to AGI? What does that mean for CPAs, lawyers, engineers, the world, all these things? I don't want to get us into a threat mode where we're having high anxiety. I'm excited for breakthroughs in technology. I think that's interesting. But this one has some degree of threat to the world in a broader sense, which is why Sam Altman wrote that blog to say, hey, we understand there might be some concerns if we break through with AGI, but don't worry, we got it under control. We'll see. We'll see. So what is AGI? Our topic today. Next week, I believe I will be on LinkedIn Live again. I think I'll just do a generative AI news, what's in the space that week. I'll also, just to let you know as well, we have a generative AI course that is available. It's available on a few different platforms right now. If you go to Sharif Consulting, let me share my screen here. You'll see it on our website, sharifconsulting.com. And you'll see that there's a generative AI course. The feature is generative AI. In fact, what I'm going to do, this is just a little bit impromptu, I am going to play the trailer for our course. Let me play that for you. Hey, I'm Garth.
And I'm Dave. Today we're talking about generative AI and how it's shaking up the CPA profession.
Generative AI uses algorithms to create content. How does this affect CPAs, you ask?
Think automation. It handles mundane tasks, giving CPAs more time for strategic analysis and decision making.
Reducing errors, improving efficiency. Some worry about job impact. Dave?
No replacement here. AI enhances, not replaces. The human touch in accounting is irreplaceable.
So, generative AI isn't a threat, but a tool to elevate the CPA profession.
Stick around as we explore applications, benefits, and challenges.
Now, what we just presented was scripted by ChatGPT with the query write a script between Garth and Dave, who are co presenters, introducing the topic of generative AI and the CPA profession. A fun way to get us into this topic, but also a way that brings into focus the many opportunities and challenges in using generative AI.
That's right, Garth. The topic of generative AI elicits many thoughts and emotions, and we are here today to provide insights of how this transformative technology is and will impact our CPA profession.
It will be your So I wanted to provide that. That's a trailer. So myself and Dave Trehair joined forces, team up like the Avengers to create this amazing course on generative AI. It was great, fantastic to work with Dave. He's awesome, and also spent a lot of time in the space of looking at generative AI. And he does a deep dive. I'm talking about the sort of the ramifications, ethical issues, where it came from, a timeline. So that's available. It's a 2-hour course. You'll see it on different platforms, including CPA provinces and my own website. So take a look for that. Since I'm talking about that a lot, and I think that's a great introductory course to also get CPD hours, but also just to get more invested in this space. That is where I will leave it, and I will be with you next week, where I'll also be announcing the release of another course. It's the time of course releases for me. It's my release schedule for on demand, which is we'll be releasing professional ethics and FTX story on Sam Bankman-Fried. That is on its way to a small screen near you very shortly. But thanks for watching today. Appreciate your time on the subject of what is artificial general intelligence, and we will see you hopefully next week. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.